Yeah, I think that recruits have been talking about coming to this game that they saw on the schedule and a big number here. It's great to have families be able to see the crowd and the experience here of game day, which we're hoping is one of the best it's been in a long time around here. It's been, I guess, over 600 days since we've had a full stadium here, in the Horseshoe, and what a big game, Pac-12 team coming in here. So yeah, I think the recruits and their families are going to be excited to be here, and the experience. Every time they visit campus, it's a different experience. This is obviously a unique one, first time back, and really hoping that the crowd is excellent.
Is there expectation setting you have to do with kids coming from around the country saying, hey, maybe not till after the game we can talk to them?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is all about winning this game right now, and I assume they understand that they're not going to get as much attention as they typically would.
Second row middle, Dave.
Ryan, you talked about this after the game a little bit about just keep swinging. It seems like you guys stuck to the game plan offensively. How difficult is that? I think that can be maybe easier said than done. There's a great quote from Mike Tyson, everybody's got to play until they get punched in the mouth. You guys seem to stick with the game plan. Just how difficult is that as a coach?
I think you have to make that decision before you get out in the field, because you take the emotion and everything else out of it. When you're there trying to make those decisions in game, it gets hard. And I think that's where all the game planning, all the decisions that you're making for the most part are done like now, Wednesday, Thursday as we head into it, because when you can get into those situations, you can feel the emotion of the game, and that's not typically when the best decisions are made. So we try to make those decisions ahead of time. No matter what happens, this is the best plan to win. You got to stick with it.
I know talking about injuries is a touchy subject. How much can you share about Josh Proctor, Seven Banks, and Cam Brown?
Yeah. I mean, that's when we went to the availability report, we kind of took that out of it for a lot of reasons, and certainly there are different situations for each person, and we just felt like moving forward, the best thing to do is not comment on any type of injuries.
Second row right, Joey.
Ryan, when you were reconfiguring the offensive line and putting guys in different spots, what ultimately about Nick Petitfer made you feel good about putting him at left tackle?
Well, first, he's very talented, and we wanted to try to find our best five on the field at once, and we move those guys around, and I think Thayer is really going to increase his value by now showing that he can play two positions, and so that's going to pay huge dividends for him down the road. But moving Nick over and then DeJuan over at right tackle is something that we felt allowed us to get the best five on the field.
Did Nick show any traits that you felt confident about him being on left tackle specifically? Because obviously that's a position where you're going to face time pass rushers like maybe Javion Thibodeau this week.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously felt like he could do it. He could do it on the right side. Doing it on the left side is a little bit different. If you're right hand dominant, left hand dominant, but it's still just as important that the right tackle and the left tackle are doing their job. So making that move has been good for him. We obviously has a huge challenge this week.
Third row left, Danny.
Ryan, for running back rotation on Thursday, you guys had 4 guys in there. Nobody got more than 9 carries. Now that you come out of that first game, you had a chance to watch the film. Do you look at trying to shorten that rotation this week and get some of the top guys more carries?
I think so. Yeah. It was a very unique game. I think we had 48 gradable snaps, and I think going into the last drive, I think it was 42. Very unique game, very strange game. To have 45 points on 48 plays. I don't remember being in a game with that few plays. So I wish we had more plays that we could evaluate. But yeah, I think that moving into this game, that's probably the goal.
Did Mayan do what he needed to do to kind of secure himself as that starting running back? And with Travion making that big play, does that kind of put him in position for more?
Again, it's not a lot of plays. I mean, yeah, they made some plays and did a good job and did what they were supposed to do. But it's hard over just a handful of plays to make some hard decisions. But we're gonna do that and try to figure out what's best to win this game.
Third row right, Tony.
Ryan Travion Henderson in there at the end. Was that your call? Was that Tony's call? Who wants to take credit for that?
For being in the game at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I let Tony make the decisions on that. I give him my input, but at the end of the day, I have a lot of respect and trust in Tony, and he knows those guys intimately, and he's going to roll those guys in. And in that moment, he felt like he gave us the best chance to be successful, and that one turned out. So, and that's part of being, as an offense and working together for now, I guess, going on 5 years, is you get to know each other pretty good, and you can that's the trust that you build.
And would that play have been called, this touchdown play, would that have been called no matter which running back was in there, or did you call it for him?
Yeah, I mean, there are times I think where we'll call certain plays based on who's in the game, but that's really hard as a play caller. I mean, there's so many things you're taking into consideration: down distance, the quarterback, where you are in the field, the situation in the game, whether it's raining or not. I mean, so many things, and then all of a sudden you look up and see who's in the game. So we try to do that, but it's very difficult to do.
Second row left, Steven?
Just kind of following up on the recruiting thing. You guys, some people might use big games as a reason to have more official visitors on campus. You guys clearly aren't trying to do that. You handled a lot of that heavy lifting in the summer. Why take that philosophy with it?
Well, there's a balance. I think that when the more people you bring on campus, the less attention you can spend with each person. But there's also a part of being here on game day and seeing this type of environment. And I wish we could invite everybody in the country and take everybody on, but there's a limitation on all of that. And we want to make sure we're doing a good job with the people who are on campus.
Far right over here, Clay?
You talked about the need for a great atmosphere. There are 10,000 tickets still out there. How does that strike you, and any pleas for more?
Well, no, I mean, I think that when you look at this game, it's the first time there's been a game in the Horseshoe, and again over 600 days. And we need Buckeye Nation in this game. I mean, it's a very, very big game for our program, and we need them to be loud, especially on third down. We need them to be loud when they have the ball. I think the last game that we played here was when Penn State played, and that was as loud as I've heard it. And we need that same type of environment here. And it's got to be an advantage for us. And they're communicating, and if we can force them into a silent count, then that's an advantage us. And the louder and the more we can feel this crowd, the better we're going to play.
You think that's COVID? Do you think that's the price that sellouts a lot of places aren't automatic anymore?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this past year there's a lot going on and a lot of dynamics at play, but to have if not 100,000, over 100,000 people at a game like this says a lot about Buckeye Nation after everything we've been through. And I know that there's so many people who are going to be dying to go into that shoe and see the band and see us run out of that tunnel and obviously cheer on the Buckeyes and be together for a weekend. I think that's something that everybody misses around here, and I know there's a lot of people looking forward to it.
Sixth row left, Brendan?
Coach, back here, I want to ask about Jeremy Rucker. He didn't really show up a lot on the stat sheet. There were a couple of really, really big blocks that he made that sprung touchdown plays. For folks that maybe didn't catch those blocks or see the reaction on the sideline, what's it do to a team when you see a guy make a play that can spring something big for your offense?
Yeah, I thought he played well. Graded a champion. Again, when you have 48 plays in a game and you're 50-50 in terms of run pass, that's not a lot of touches. So he made a really good catch on the one. Executed that really, really well. And had a few other things designed for him that didn't quite go his way, but I thought he did a good job blocking, and I think that's a huge part of his game right now is that he's become a well-rounded player. He can do a good job in the pass game, but he also can block, and that's gonna serve him well in the future and give him a lot of value and versatility.
You spoke to us a lot last week about the importance of tackling in this game. On one hand, 50 carries for 200 yards with one big broken run is a nice number. On the other hand, some missed tackles. How did you evaluate that part of the game?
Yeah, kind of like what you just said. There's some good things for sure. There was also some missed tackles. The fourth down and one was disappointing that we let him score it out like that. But there weren't a ton of explosive plays, so that was good. But I think, first off, we had a great running back there, and Abraham, obviously terrible news to see him out for the season because he's one heck of a back, runs really hard, and college football could really use him right now. And I know that's a big break or a big setback for that team because I think that they're a very good team and very well coached. But he broke some tackles. He did. We also got him on the ground at times. So do I think it was great? No. Do I think it was awful? No. Somewhere in between. And then we got to grow this week. Different challenge this week. Very, very skilled and very quick. And so we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have to tackle and get guys on the ground. And then hopefully those runs, that went for 5 or 6 can go for 3 or 4, and then we get them on 3rd down.
Fourth row middle, Rob?
Ryan, I'm doing something on Chip Kelly's influence on Oregon. I know you New Hampshire guys are biggest thieves. How closely did you watch what he was doing there, communicate with him during that time?
Yeah, I mean, we talked yesterday. I mean, we talk all the time. Very, very close to me. In the summers, his summer home is right across the street from mine. His wife and my wife are very, very close. So yeah, we've always stayed very, very close. Share thoughts and ideas and just about everything, not just football. And he's obviously been a huge mentor for me and a very close friend.
Did you have an opportunity to go to Oregon at all? I know the timing didn't totally line up. Did you have that chance?
Yeah, we talked several times about going there. It was very hard for me at the time. I just had RJ, and I think Nina at the time was pregnant with Grace, and thought long and hard about doing it, but it was just too far to go at the time, and didn't want to, with a young family, go all the way across the country. And Chip was great. He said, "That's why I love you, because you love your family so much." And he said, "We'll coach together someday." And then lo and behold, about 5 years later, we're out in San Francisco together, on the other side of the country, working together. So that's football.
Last thing, did it surprise you that he jumped to the NFL at all? I'm sure did he bounce that off you at all? How did you guys discuss that?
So I mean, he's a wonderful coach. He's had success at all levels. He just loves football, and it's great to see him building that program back up at UCLA. I think he walked into a very difficult situation, and he's had a lot of patience there the last couple of years and building it the right way. I think that things are going well for him, and I think they're going to have a bright future there, because he's one of the best football coaches in the country. And what he did at Oregon was unbelievable. He had a lot of success in the NFL too. At times, certainly at the end, it wasn't as successful as he would have liked, but now you can see it go again. Nothing's changed with him. He's still a great coach. He just inherited a tough situation, but you can start to see all the hard work coming back, and what a great win for that program.
Second row left, Nathan?
Looking back at the way CJ was used on Thursday, it seemed like with Justin, you guys didn't throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage that much at all. It seemed like, and there was more of that with CJ. Is that using his strengths? Is that because of the strengths of the guys you're trying to get the ball to? Kind of what was the plan behind that?
I mean, we've always had that stuff. Justin did some of that as well, and so did Dwayne. And we felt like in that game plan that fit what they were doing, and so we utilized that. And some of it is based on what the defense is giving us as well. And so we'll just kind of take each game plan and figure out if that fits, and if it does, we'll go from there.
As you kind of evaluated his performance, or maybe even just talk to him about what happened in that game, I guess what do you have a better understanding of now after that conversation and reevaluating it?
I just think going through a first game and going through some of that adversity early on opened your eyes to some things, and then working through that was great. So it's just the first step in a long journey for our offense, and certainly for CJ. And so we'll see what this week brings us.
Do you get like a better concept of how to call a game the next time, having gone through this the first time with him in a live situation, a real game?
I mean, no, I think I've kind of seen this before and been through it, so I kind of got it. But it's always unique. You're never sure what you're going to get. You just got to adapt from there.
Over here to the far right, Don?
Coach, how big of a challenge is this? And as you look at them in years past, I think Ohio State probably had the edge at a physical standpoint. How about this time around?
Well, I think that Coach Cristobal is somebody who has a background in line play and brings a style of toughness to the table, and I think that they've embodied that. They've recruited really well. They're very, very athletic. It's a very, very good team that's coming in here with a lot of good players, and so it is a major challenge. And we're gonna have to play and keep up with them speed-wise, and then they're gonna be strong in the middle. We got to be strong in the middle. So anytime you go against a very good program like that, they have power, they have strength, they have toughness, but they also have speed and athleticism.
Can you give the fans an idea of what it was like for CJ, first start, never thrown a pass in college, to go into that kind of situation, and then I don't know how much will that help him down the road that he hung right?
Well, and now you can say that you have done it before. I mean, there was a lot of things going into that game that we could say that CJ hadn't done, and a lot of guys hadn't done, but he had never even thrown a pass. And it's one thing to be a first-time starter. It's another thing to be doing everything for the first time and going on the road, playing in front of fans, being a starter, throwing a pass in a game, all those things, throwing your first interception, throwing your first touchdown. Those are all new things for him. And so anytime those things are new like that, there's a toll that's taken. And so once it's behind you, then you can go upon that and use it as a reference point. And that's what we're going to do.
So with that said, they say you make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. What do you expect out of him?
I mean, I don't know. I think we have to keep growing. I know that that's the case in a lot of situations because it gives you an idea where your team's at, and then you kind of go from there. But this is a game that you know, obviously we've known this is coming for a long time, and we've been preparing, and so nothing's changed. I mean, we still have to. This will be the first time playing in the horseshoe now. So here we go. You know, with the fans and everything like that. So again, another new experience for everybody, a new game. You know, for all these young players. Certainly the quarterback's one of them, and so we'll go from there. But nothing's changed in terms of taking care of the football, running the offense, and being a